What is up, boyos? This is the Loner Gamecast, where we discuss that everything is video game.
Sure is.
This week, we're talking about Netflix, we're talking about the Steam Deck, and the MPD numbers are in. My name is Jake. That over there is Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Hello. I ate too much Taco Bell, and I'm not doing too hot, but we'll make it through. We'll make it through.
If you need to go halfway through the show, I got you covered, you know?
All right.
We'll bring
I don't
Nick
think that'll
after.
be an issue. I think we'll be all right.
But
You never know with Taco Bell, so...
You brought one of those, like, squatty potties into... You're sitting on it right now.
Yeah, our toilet's broken, so that's what I'm sitting on right now. I just shit into it and then throw it out afterwards.
We should do a show, like, entirely in our bathrooms one
In
of
our
these
bathrooms?
days. That'd be hilarious.
It would be really echoey.
Yeah, it's true. Let's get into what you've been playing. What you been playing, Nick?
A whole buttload of Monster Hunter Stories 2. And I really don't feel like I've even scratched the surface. I really need to check to see how many hours I've put into this game, because it's probably like 20. Maybe a little less than 20. 14 to 20 is what I'm going to say. And like I've gotten to like mid-tier monsters, where it's like Nargacuga. I haven't seen any Elder Dragons, and I can't even fight with like the main monster that you're supposed to have through the whole thing quite yet. So it's like, wow, it takes a minute. You
still enjoying it, though?
Yeah, super good. I love it. Other than that, not too much. Played some Call of Duty. I hate the new Call of Duty. It just looks bad. It looks.
What's the next one coming out? What's that one called? Have they said?
They don't have it yet. They haven't said it, but it's
weird.
made by Sledgehammer. I want to say Sledgehammer's the next one that's making the Call of Duty.
I can't keep up
Sledgehammer
anymore.
has only multiplayer games. So
Well, it's just that one time, right? Yeah, Volp says Sledgehammer.
yeah.
They made Black Ops? No. They made
that's Treyarch. They
No,
made
no.
they made the World War II one.
Treyarch is Modern Warfare, right?
No, that's Infinity Ward.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm telling you, I can't keep up with this shit anymore.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But they all kind of just like work on them now, right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure that the teams don't really matter. They just slap their own. Like, you have Black Ops. I'm really kind of surprised that they don't say like Call of Duty, Treyarch's Call of Duty,
yeah.
Black Ops, and then the subtext a Activision Blizzard game. Like
The Spike Lee
soon
joint.
enough the whole box is just going to be Call of Duty text.
Yeah. Volpinator in the chat says Sledgehammer also helped with Modern Warfare 3. Okay.
Yeah, they did. I think they did the multiplayer on that one.
So hard to keep up. Jesus.
I mean, I hope the next one's good. That's all I can say. I hope they do something different, and it looks a little less shitty than the one that's out right now.
We may have a sweet alternative that we'll talk about when we get to the tidbits of news.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
what
we'll
I've been
definitely
playing.
Talk about that.
What I've been playing.
What have you been playing? I'm sorry. I totally just made that about me. Please go ahead.
No, it was about you. It's what you've been playing. So it's,
Right.
I asked you.
But now I got to share the space.
I platinumed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Holy shit! You already told me that though.
I did.
I already knew
Yeah,
we discovered. I'm just gonna fucking cut you off there because this is my space, bitch. No, we discovered that you have more platinums than me.
I do. Yeah, I
And
have 16.
that's fucking insane. I have 15.
Hey, thanks for the host, Cody. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I platinumed Ratchet and Clank. I thought the game was okay. Not my favorite Ratchet and Clank. I felt like some of the gameplay got pretty stale. You fight a lot of the same bosses, just over and over and over again. And some of my favorite things, like in the original, like I would say the first like 4 Ratchet and Clank games, Ratchet and Clank OG, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlock. some of my favorite stuff in those games were like the arenas, which there is an arena in this game, but it's kind of lackluster. It's not exciting. The arenas in the original ones always did weird things. This one just felt like kill dudes, you know?
Yeah.
And then there was always like, even in the first one, there was like, you'd get like this hoverboard thing with Skid McMarks, who's like a famous hoverboarder, and you have to like compete for him. There's
He's
nothing
still
like
in the game though.
he is, and it's kind of funny. They make him like a hero in an alternate dimension or whatever. But yeah, there's nothing like that in this game. There's some stuff that's kind of like that, but not quite as like cool as that. And then like in the original one, and this was set up perfectly for this game. In the original one, Clank becomes a massive Clank, right?
I remember that.
And you fight as massive Clank. In this game, it's almost like they set it up to do this and then decided it's too much work. Because Rivet's like new Clank character, minor spoilers here, there's like a Clank alternative. She's kind of like the Hulk, where she can't control it and she becomes large. And then at the end, they have to like overcome their differences and come together anyway, or whatever. And it's like, that's the perfect opportunity to do that kind of large Clank gameplay. And it wasn't in the game. So I don't know. Like, it was okay. It was good enough for me to platinum it.
Yeah. I mean, how much did you actually have to play in order, like extra, do you think you had to play before you actually got the platinum?
There's some like tedious collectibles that you have to go back and get or whatever.
Right.
But it's really not too bad. It's a pretty easy platinum. Another thing I've been playing, and I wanted to bring this up with you, Nick, because this is like your favorite genre of game.
Right. I see it says roguelites in here, so.
Yeah, roguelites, whatever. I played a couple. I went back to Returnal because I beat Ratchet and Clank. And I was like, let's go back to Returnal. And then I also decided to finally hook up my my Switch dock and put my Switch on my TV or whatever. And I played some Hades.
Oh,
and I keep dying to Megara. Okay, and because I'm bad. All right. I'm bad at video games and I keep dying to her. And it frustrates me. And every time I do it, I like get really mad and I get pissed off. And I'm just so confused that that this is your kind of game because you didn't like Bloodborne for the same sort of shit because you kept dying to the bosses and you hate having to redo the bosses. And to me, that's what I feel like I'm doing here. Only instead of it taking like 2 seconds to get back to the boss, I have to go through all these fucking catacombs and caves and rebuild myself every time I die to the boss.
So you want me to explain to you why?
Yeah, I don't get it. I think it's a great game. I love Supergiant. I just don't think roguelikes are my thing because I get frustrated, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
I'm really liking Hades, but I get frustrated and then turn it off. And the same thing with Returnal.
Returnal.
Anyway, you have
Returnal was kind of hard. I was starting to get frustrated at Returnal with the first boss because I'm just like everybody else is like, oh yeah, I beat that boss. I had no problem. I beat that boss
with that one. It's the second world I'm having issues
especially you. Yeah, you beat it and you're like, oh yeah, I beat it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like on my 7th try and I'm barely getting back to it. But everything after that boss was kind of a cakewalk, honestly.
Not for me.
But
I keep dying constantly.
Yeah, and that happens. But with Returnal, I feel like it's less of like you upgrade yourself and you get better because it's just like we'll throw in a couple of little like bonus
this one is more of a roguelike.
Right. It's you reset to 0 and it's like, okay, well, I have a new item that I could pick up, but that's about it. You don't like increase your health overall. You don't have like an ability you can use. Whereas
that's kind of how Isaac is too, right? Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But Isaac has the benefit of
different characters.
Different characters, but also it has like the Enter the Gungeon sort of situation where you can mix like if you get like Brimstone, which is the beam, and it mixes with the thing that where bullets go around you. You just have a shield of brimstone, so you just run into people, and it's like it has synergies is the word that I'm looking for. Whereas Returnal doesn't really have synergies. Like it has sub-level synergies where it's like, yeah, your gun shoots faster, and it's like, well, I have this really cool gun, and that's about it. Whereas Hades has a mirror that you can like go to and then choose your upgrades, upgrade your character so that next time you may not die as quickly. Um, so yeah, if you want to get through Hades, and I highly suggest you do, go through every door that has the gems.
Yeah. Which is what I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
keys.
kind of ignore the I want to say the purple one because you get so much purple shit. Um the purple like teardrops or whatever. But go through the ones with the gems. That way you can upgrade your weapon and you can upgrade your character. Yeah, because the the thing about the reason I like roguelites more than I like Souls to likes is because of that reason alone. Like you for Returnal not so much, but for Hades, Gungeon, Isaac, it's well, not even Isaac so much, but Returnal and or fuck. Let me start over. Hades and Enter the Gungeon. You come back and you're leveled up somewhat. You have a new ability or you have something that you can use. Whereas when I play a Souls game, I feel like I'm just hitting the boss with the same loadout that I've had before. I can't really change it because I've lost all my souls. I can't buy a new weapon. I didn't like Bloodborne a lot of to use like early on in the game. It's just like, okay, you have the little pokey rapier, you have the switch axe, or you have I think it was a hammer. Was it a hammer? Yeah, it was the sword with the big block of concrete. And that
Yeah.
was it. And it was like you choose one of those and you have to beat so many bosses with these. And like I got to a certain point where it's just like I don't like this weapon, but it's forcing me to use this weapon. And I just got bored. I got really bored with just like, okay, I'm dying because I suck with this, or I just don't feel like there's enough change between the deaths that it really it really changes anything when I get to the boss. It's like, here I go again dying. Whereas like Gungeon, it's like, oh, I can get farther than I have been, rather than, oh, I beat this boss because of it decided to use this combo rather than this combo and I just lucked out. you know I don't like, I playing Sekiro, the same thing in Sekiro. Like there's like a giant who's blocking a door and you have to fight the giant in order to get around the door. I probably put like 3 or 4 hours fighting this simple boss, like this mini boss. And after I beat him, I'm like, that was fucking stupid. I wasted half of my day. I will never play this because I wasted what I find wasted. I wasted 4 hours of my day looking at the same guy, watching the same thing. It just got like too repetitive. Whereas like Enter the Gungeon, it can be like, oh, I jumped into the thing. I got this weapon instead of the last weapon that I had. I upgraded to like something else.
You like the gambling aspect of it.
Yeah. I really like I like the chaos. I really do.
I like
that's why
I think I'm more
Gungeon's my favorite.
I'm just like more inclined to enjoy like knowing what's gonna happen, in my run. I don't know. Like I don't know. There's whatever. I like them. I like them, but like I just get so frustrated, and then like I'm like I get so close, and I'm like, oh, I want to try that again, but then the next run is completely different.
It's completely different. Yeah, I get that, but I guess that's where we differ. Where I'm like, I can do this. Give me whatever tools, and I'll do it. Whereas like, if I'm just banging my head against the wall with the same tools,
because you talked
I'm gonna
about
end up
like
breaking my skull.
You talked about how like in Bloodborne or whatever that like you luck out because they picked a certain combo this time or whatever.
Right, yeah, or I'm standing in a certain
But then in
spot.
roguelikes, it's like the same thing. It's like I lucked out because I got a good class or whatever.
Right.
I got a good loadout. You know? It's the same thing.
But it's a different gameplay. It
it's certainly different.
It refreshes it for me. Whereas
I think they're both frustrating.
Well, Souls games it's just a stagnant, like, you have to beat this guy with this weapon because it's the only weapon you have.
All I'm saying is, like, why can't they all just be farming simulators? That's all I'm saying.
Oh God. Well, Vulpinator agrees with me. He says 10 out of 10 on Hades, and I fucking agree. That game is fucking great.
Was my game of the year. Yeah, and I absolutely adore Supergiant, which is why I keep going back to Hades, because I love Bastion, and Transistor is probably in like my top 10 favorite games of all time. So like,
super good.
You know, so like I love the gameplay of it, and like I love the look of it, and I love the sound of it. It's just that, man, I have such a hard time like dying and then redoing it, and it takes forever to get back to the boss just to know that I'm gonna have to do it again. And you know,
well, okay, so when you think about it, you get to the boss in 10 minutes. Let's say the first boss, you get to the first boss in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about it, it's like, okay, well, that's part of the game. If you could get to the boss in 2 seconds and you got good enough to where you can just beat the boss, like, on the first try, kind of like how I am. I don't know if I still can do that, but if, say, like towards the end of the where I was, you know, getting through the entire game on a regular, the game would be like 2 minutes long if I could just be like, okay, I'm gonna go jump to the and then jump to the next one and then jump to the next one. There's the final boss. I win. You know, and I think it's more about, I'm going to be fucking cliche here and say it's more about the journey than the destination. But, you know, it's true. It's like, what, I get it. How is this build going to build out? What kind of...
But that is something that I kind of liked about like Bloodborne, right? Where it's like, at first, like that first area, I died constantly. And then later in the game, I'm just crushing through this area, no problem, because I've like learned it. And
do you think that's because you learned it, or you think that's because you've leveled up your...
It's absolutely because I learned it, because like I could restart that game and crush that intro area.
Really?
Know? Yeah.
I don't think I could.
But I love Bloodborne. That game's great.
Also, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro has like 50-something bosses plus, 50 plus bosses, whereas Hades, for example, you have 1, 2, 4 bosses, and that's it. Like, and I mean, there's variations between each level and like difficulty, but yeah, you have 4 bosses. If you could jump to the bosses, then there wouldn't really be a game, and there's nothing to like. There's no reason for it to be a roguelite, because you would never need to upgrade your stuff. You wouldn't have the time to upgrade your build, which is another reason why I don't really like Returnal as much, because you can just jump straight to the next boss. You're like, okay, well, I've beat this boss once. I'm gonna go down to the next level.
You still have to like journey through that area.
It does. Yeah, you have to find the door that goes to the next area.
And then you have to get through that area to get to the next boss. Like it does feel kind of more like a Souls in that way, but just like longer.
Yeah, exactly. And it's random, so it's like it's not like beelining it straight to a certain point. Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind beelining it in that game, honestly. Because the runs in that game are just so fucking long, dude.
They're so long. And then they don't have a save, which is the biggest problem.
That is the thing that I like more about Hades, is like my runs are like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Versus, Returnal, I put in like 3 runs. I spent like 3 hours on the game last night.
That was a big... When I beat the game, when I went from start to finish and beat the final boss, I think I was on like 4 hours. 3.5 hours, something like that. And then you have the end credits, and it's like, man, I just want to put this game down and like come back to it, but I literally can't because I haven't died. I haven't eaten yet. Like, it's 8:00. Let me eat. But
anyway, we should move on to what we lovingly call titties, which are little tidbits of news. First titty here. Kratos, who's played by Chris Judge, is also doing the voice of Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers. I put that in there because I think that's good casting. I like that.
I don't think. Will you think it'll fix the game? It won't fix the game.
No. Ghostwire Tokyo, as we suspected, I think we talked about it last week, actually. Ghostwire Tokyo has been delayed to 2022. So,
what hasn't been
delayed?
Yeah, what hasn't been delayed? What was supposed to come out like this year that actually came out this year?
I don't know. We lost Far Cry.
Yeah, we lost Far Cry. Freaking Ratchet and Clank was supposed to be out next year or
earlier
last year. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now it's like, okay, well, like I feel like everything that was supposed to come out last year came out this year, and we're getting all of last year's games this year. Whereas like anything that was announced as 2021 release is now getting pushed back. So we're just a year behind. We're a year behind.
Yeah, everything's
and that's to be expected.
It's fine.
We all lost a year. So
I don't have an issue with it.
Nope.
There was a update to the Persona website done by Atlas, and on the website it says Persona 6 is they're quote to create a 6 which exceeds 5. So they're working on Persona 6. Not really a surprise, but this is like the first real confirmation of the game. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, of course it's going to exceed 5. Of course that's what they want it to do, because every time you release a game, you make the next one better. Or you
what if they're like, we want to make a 6 that's like a little worse than 5?
Yeah, 6 but not so good.
Not so flashy,
it's pretty much Persona 5 Golden, but like bad.
Yeah.
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 We took out all of the good music and all of the style, so now it's just regular ass text, and it's just bad. It's the same game. It just doesn't.
It's basically Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Well, EA has come out and preemptively confirmed that it won't be showing any new Star Wars games at its EA Play Live Summer Showcase, which takes place July 22nd,
which is Thursday. I want to talk about this a little bit.
Go for it.
Just what the fuck are they going to show? Do you know?
Battlefields.
I'm gonna jump ahead in this titties and also bring up Skate. They said that Skate will not be at EA Play either, but Skate released a little behind the scenes video, and it just says we're working on it. It's kind of cool. It's like mocapping like skateboarders and fan reactions to like gameplay that they've seen. But we didn't actually get to see any gameplay. But brings me back to the point, like, what the fuck is EA gonna show? You got Battlefield, rather.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool if they did in Battlefront, but they're not, because it says no Star Wars. So we got Battlefield 5. I feel like it's gonna be 20 minutes of Battlefield 5 gameplay for no reason. It's gonna be whatever the hell.
New Apex stuff, yeah.
Well, yeah, new Apex DLC or season or whatever.
A new legend, yeah.
They're gonna talk about a little bit about sports for sure, like the FIFA, something about FIFA. We're updating our like loot crates to fit within everybody's fashion.
Madden.
Yeah, and then we're gonna see one more thing. Oh, by the way, we have one more thing to show you. It's gonna be the remaster of what everybody's saying is Dead Space. And that's going to be their whole show. It's going to be a 15-minute show with like a fucking 20-minute like Battlefield 5 or Battlefield whatever the fuck.
Well, Volpinator in the chat here says they actually just put out a new lore trailer on the new legend for Apex, and it's like,
I actually saw
like
that.
They already did it. So like when they show it at EA Play, it's going to be like, saw it.
We'll see. They do this. They do this every time. They put out a lore trailer, and then like a week before or the week that they release the new legend, they like deep dive into like what the season's gonna look like, because every time they put out a new legend, there's a new season. So they're gonna be like, here's all the battle pass unlocks. Here's what the legend can do. Here's his loadout. We're adding a new weapon. Whereas the lore trailer's 2-minute trailer of like pre-rendered. It's usually like really nicely animated backstory of the character. We don't actually get to see um, what their like kit is, what their loadout is. So it's gonna be something, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, it's like how much do I really care? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Apex, and I play Apex, and I have a good time with Apex, but Apex is like a 3-year-old game at this point. You know, I don't really care to see this at your big like E3 showcase, you know, but like, yeah, it's what they're gonna do.
I mean, everybody plays Apex.
Yeah,
It's a free game.
I get
It's
it, but
like
when
it's
that's
like a Fortnite.
and
Fortnite's what?
it's fine
6
that
years old?
it's fine that it's in there, but if that's your selling point, you know, it's not a really
Yeah.
huge selling point.
I mean, yeah, what's so different from this time from
you
you
could
showing
easily
this
just-
trailer than like last time when you showed a trailer for the last
You could
last
easily
hero.
just put out a separate thing for it, and
Yeah.
people who care about Apex will care about it. Honestly,
Right, and
I don't understand why they don't put these little trailers inside of the game. Just like, here's the update. They should put it inside of the game. Like, here,
Yep.
if you want to watch the video, here's the video in the game. Here's all the updates. That would make a lot of sense to me. But
yeah, it'd be like
whatever.
the Uncharted 3 sort of live TV. at
yeah,
the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Be like, oh yeah, here's an update, and we're adding a new map.
What a callback.
Yeah, seriously. Well, they did it in 4 too, but it wasn't as good in 4. But like in 3, it'd be like, we're adding lab, and it's like, oh cool, look what we get to, you know.
Three online was so fun.
Yeah, it was so good. So many memories. They actually
All
just
right.
put a new trailer. This is true. Other than the supposed Dead Space, not sure what they're gonna do. Yeah, exactly.
To me, their one more thing is going to be a Dead Space remaster. That's
Or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it might not be
that's-
remaster. It might be
that's my guess.
reimagined.
My
Yeah.
guess is just a remaster.
I really hope it's not going to be an HDified Dead Space. I really hope they actually like go in and work on
No.
updating, like bringing this 8-9-year-old game to modern controls and stuff like that. So it's not.
I feel
so
like they're just gonna Dark
clunky.
Souls. They're gonna Dark Souls Dead Space,
I mean, that'd be perfect.
or Mass
I'd like
Effect.
that.
Yeah, the new Mass Effect is a definite possibility. That's true.
Mass Effect.
I would be happy to be like wrong and be like, this shit was actually
Who's-
fucking bonkers and cool, but I don't know.
Did BioWare work on the Mass Effect remake, or was that a different company?
They
'Cause if
they announced
did-
that they're making a new Mass Effect already.
Right,
So,
right. But I don't think they have enough on it right now, or I can't imagine they have enough to show.
Who
it off.
knows? Who knows? You know,
Not I, said the rabbit.
same company. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the main news. Let's get into the meat of the show, shall we?
Well, you missed the biggest news that came
Well,
out today.
Hold on. I'm gonna save this.
This one right here. This one.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Ubisoft's X Defiant. Yesterday on IGN, you're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. I totally missed this.
Yeah, come on. It's probably the biggest titty that we have.
Yeah. It's a huge titty.
It's a huge
Yesterday
titty.
on IGN, they dropped like a little trailer for this Tom Clancy's X Defiant, and then today they dropped like an actual like trailer with like the devs or whatever talking about how great this game is. It's basically just a fucking Call of Duty clone made by
Yep.
Ubisoft. That's it.
It looks like Call of Duty mixed with Overwatch with bland ass characters.
Yeah, and very purple.
I guess.
Looked
Yeah,
very purple.
but
to
you know,
me. That could have just been the map.
when I saw the first map and it had like the graffiti all over the walls, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then they go to like another map, and I'm like, oh, it all kind of looks like this. It all looks the same. It's just noisy and messy, and it doesn't look good. But
Yeah, it
you know,
looks.
who am I to say?
It looks totally fine. You know,
It's free to play. I'll
Yeah.
fucking give it a shot. Honestly, if it's free to play, I'll download it, play it for 30 minutes, and then uninstall it if I don't like it. You know,
Volpinator brings up a great point. Just make a new Splinter Cell. Absolutely.
please,
I agree.
seriously, dude. Splinter Cell is what everybody wants, and I would be so surprised if they're not actually doing it behind the scenes already. They're just
I don't
fucking
believe
up.
that they are. I just don't. I don't believe it. I just don't. I would even settle for just like a Chaos Theory HD remake, you know, like that would be fine with me. Just do that. Like I would play the shit out of that, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah. We need a new Splinter Cell.
Anyway, Ubisoft, get your shit together. Fire Eves.
Fire everybody and start fresh. That's the
Yeah.
only way to do it.
Uh,
Burn the swamp.
all right, let's get into the main news here. First piece of news here. This was kind of a big piece of news. Netflix plans to offer video games in push beyond films and TV. This comes from Lucas Shaw and Mark Gurman at Bloomberg. Netflix Inc., marking its first big move beyond TV shows and films, is planning an expansion into video games and has hired a former Electronics Art Inc. and Facebook Inc. executive to lead the effort.
That's who you want to hire. That's who
Maybe.
you want.
Mike Verdu will join Netflix as vice president of game development, reporting to chief operating officer Greg Peters. The company said on Wednesday, Verdu was previously Facebook's vice president in charge of working with developers to bring games and other content to Oculus virtual reality headsets. Relates to Netflix plans to offer video games and push beyond films, TV. Mark Verdu source, Netflix Inc. I don't know what the fuck that is. The idea is to offer video games on Netflix's streaming platforms within the next year, according to a person familiar with the situation. The games will appear alongside current fare as new programming genre, similar to what Netflix did with documentaries or stand-up specials. The company doesn't currently plan to charge extra for the content, said the person, who asked not to be identified because the deliberations are private. That's interesting.
Nope. There's one for the coin box.
Yeah. I do think bringing on, we made a joke about it. What's this dude's name? Mike Verdu.
Yeah.
I do actually think it's maybe like a good call. And the reason I say that is because he worked with Facebook on the Oculus stuff. And if they plan on bringing a bunch of like virtual reality shit to Netflix, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Like some virtual reality movies,
Porn.
virtual reality porn. I don't think Netflix will do that, but maybe they might dive into that a little bit more than Facebook initially did. But this guy has experience with the virtual reality stuff, as well as like. They say that they're not going to add additional costs for this shit. I don't believe them at all.
Not in the slightest. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, that means that their whole premium is going to go up.
They're not going to do it for a year. They'll leave it the same price for like a year, maybe two, and then it'll be like
$3-4. Yeah.
And yeah, they may not make a separate thing, but the whole cost is going to go up. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's going to be paying more because of it. The weird thing is like streaming games is still not there. We've seen with like xCloud and Google Stadia and whatever else fucking is out there. It's still not there. So I don't know. Luna. Like this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I understand like people are gearing up for the future, which could and probably will. I don't know how far in the future. Probably will have something to do with streaming games. That way there's space saving. But right now the technology is just not there. The internet service providers are just not giving us enough data for one to play a game streaming, and the speeds aren't there either. Unless you're like directly linked in and then what's the point? Then just fucking buy a PlayStation 5. But I don't understand this. Like they're trying to get into video games because they can, because they're losing money, because they're making money and they want to spend it. Like I do
No.
not understand this other than, hey, we're also in video games and because video games are hot right now. I just, it does not seem like a good
I think
a good branch for Netflix to go.
I'm gonna take the controversial route here, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really good call for them. Um,
Because why?
well, I don't think they're doing it because they're losing money. Netflix is
No.
still the biggest streaming service, maybe besides Disney Plus.
Right.
But their premiums are so much higher than Disney Plus. I imagine they're making more.
Right.
And the idea of adding a gaming thing, like, there's already so many eyeballs there. If anyone's going to be able to pull it off, I think it's Netflix versus not compared to like Xbox or PlayStation, but like compared to like Amazon and
Right.
and
Facebook.
Google and Facebook. I think if anyone's going to pull it off, it's Netflix because they already are in the streaming game. They were innovative with the streaming with movies and TV.
Mm-hmm.
Why not get in there with video games? Maybe the technology isn't there yet, like you said. But I think we're going to get there, eventually, where most, not most, but like a good chunk of Americans are able to stream video games and do it confidently. Yeah. And if this service is like they say, is just fucking part of the Netflix ecosystem, and there's just like a little section that's like video games, people are like, oh, what's that? Let's check it out. And they scroll down to it, and they're like, let's try it. And then people might find out that they actually like it. Unlike Amazon Luna, where it's like you have to like download a separate thing, and you have to pay for each game individually. Or Google Stadia was like that. Amazon Luna, I don't even know what the fuck's going on there. xCloud, I think, will probably be the best one just as far as the technology goes. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe a good call. And then the fact that they brought in a dude who's really confident and probably knows a lot about virtual reality. I mean, bringing over virtual reality to Netflix makes a whole lot of sense, and having a VR section on Netflix just makes a ton of sense. And if it doesn't work out, that's the thing, is like they can just can it, no problem. Netflix can absolutely do that, and no one will care. So,
well, yeah, but I mean, so can Amazon, so can Google, and we've seen that happen.
Right. I think the difference is the fact that they're just like, we're integrating this straight into Netflix.
And that I think that is their biggest selling point, is the fact
I think
that
so too. Like
Netflix,
if it's just there, I might fucking try it out. Like, cause I have Netflix already,
It's like, you have Netflix, everybody's got Netflix or is sharing Netflix with somebody else. Try this new thing that we've got. It may work, it may not. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, oh well. We're working on it.
That of everything is gonna get me to try cloud gaming, because for me it's Game Pass is always gonna be king because it's downloading games, and that's the move. And I don't even want to try cloud gaming. But if it's just like part of Netflix, I might be like, oh, let's try it out.
Yeah, if I don't have to do anything extra in order to get it, then fuck it. Why not?
Yeah. I don't know. I think
it's kind of like this free game from Ubisoft, X Defiant. It's like, I'll fucking download it, see what it is. No skin off my back, Yeah,
I don't know. And I just think Netflix, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm intrigued by it more than I was with Amazon Luna and Google Stadia.
I don't think we'll see anything come of it within like the next 2 years. I think it'll take them at least 2 years to actually like implement something.
It says within the next year. The idea is to offer video games on Netflix's streaming platform within the next year.
I don't know about that. That seems really soon. Unless they like hired this guy last year.
They probably did.
Yeah.
And with xCloud supposedly supposed to launch in like proper in like November, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. It seems right. It seems right. If they can get it out by like next year, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm probably wrong.
It's
I'm
one of
willing to
those
take
things,
the L on this one, but like,
it's one of those things that's like, what do you have to lose in this situation? Like, you're not making a new console. You're not doing any. It's just like, what do we got to lose? Let's try it.
to me, more than Google and Amazon, this seems like in Netflix's wheelhouse. Because like for Amazon and Google, it felt like a cash grab. For Netflix, it just makes complete sense to me because I'm like, they're a streaming service. They've always been a streaming service.
Well, that's not true.
Well, you know,
they used to. If GameFly was a streaming service, that would make even more sense. But GameFly is still.
But you know, like Netflix started out as like they would deliver movies and video games, and then it turned into a streaming thing.
Right.
For movies.
Because it's just easy. It's just
so why not integrate the video games too? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
You're right. You got my swing vote. I'm on its side. I don't think the technology's there, and I think it's going to be a minute before we see anything of it.
I am with you on that. I think like as far as just like streaming in general, like video game streaming in general, I just don't think I'll ever be fully sold on it in my lifetime. Really? But as far as someone doing it, it makes sense that Netflix would be one of the ones to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if Paramount Plus did it next week, I'd be a little surprised.
Well, yeah, you would, because like they just came out. I think they're still in beta, technically.
Yeah,
it's like Paramount Plus. You can play Conan. Or that's TBS. I don't know what the fuck Paramount owns.
He's going to HBO though. God bless him.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Next piece of news. This was like the biggest piece of news last week. Valve announces their handheld Steam Deck. Pre-order start last week. This comes from
and they might be sold out already.
Yeah. Pre-order started on July 16th. This comes from John Carson at Game Informer. This December, Valve will be releasing their very own handheld PC they're calling the Steam Deck. In a press release sent to Game Informer, Valve describes some of the hardware included in their mobile gaming device, saying, quote, Steam Deck is a powerful all-in-one portable PC with a custom processor developed in cooperation with AMD. Steam Deck is comparable to a gaming laptop with the ability to run the latest AAA games. Your Steam library will be on deck to play games wherever and whenever you want. Steam Deck is also an open PC, adding the ability to install any software or connect with any hardware. This new processor, co-developed by AMD, and is optimized for handheld using AMD's Zen 2 and RDNA 2 architecture, and supports 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM. The Steam Deck will be available with 64 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes, or 512 gigabytes of onboard storage, which can be added on to with a micro SD card. Competing with the Switch, especially the new OLED model that was just announced, Valve has included a 7-inch 1280 by 800 px LCD touchscreen, flanked with controls on either side. The Steam Deck features the analog sticks, buttons, including one on the grips, and triggers you want on a controller, but it also has 2 trackpads, like the experimental Steam controller from years ago. Another welcome addition to the device is the gyro sensor, which puts this even more in line with features put forth by Nintendo's flagship console. What do you think of all this, Nick?
I think this is fantastic. I think this is exactly what Nintendo needs. I don't know if it will do well. Just putting that out there, but I can't imagine it does bad, because not only the way everybody has been looking at this is like, oh, it's a Switch. No, it's not a new Switch. I mean, yeah, it can be used as a new Switch, but that's not what it's about. A, it is a console PC. It is a PC, an open PC the size of a Switch for a very, very easy entry price. You're not spending $2,000 on a PC and all of its, keyboard, mouse, monitors. You're spending $500 minimum for an entry level PC to play PC games. You plug this into your TV, you plug it into anything. If you have a keyboard, you plug that shit in and it works. This is incredible. I really, really, really like this. And I think this will give Nintendo the little like love tap, I guess, to actually fucking do something. It is such a great idea, and I am like it makes so much sense in terms of gaming. Like it just makes so much sense. We didn't have the Vita 2 or the PSP 3 or the new PSP to compete with the Switch. And so Switch has just been sitting out here like we don't have to do anything because we're the only ones that do this. And now we actually have a competitor. We're going to have to put our shit into gear and actually do some shit, because if we don't, then people are going to switch over to here. And I guarantee you people will still switch over to here because it is an open source where you can run emulators. And it sounds like Steam, the Steam, you can download Epic Game Store. You can download the other one. I don't remember the other one. I know Origin is not a thing, but you can take. I know it's a Linux thing, but if you wanted to, you could install Windows on it. You could install Apple if you somehow can do that. It's open source, which is incredible. And granted, most people are going to keep it base, but
Right.
for those people that really want some customization, then it is beautiful. It is so nice to have this as an option into PC gaming.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, dude. Because I think there's a couple things that are interesting. Put the coin in the jar. I said interesting. There's a couple things that fascinate me with this
Nice.
being announced. Right. First of all, it really shows that handhelds are not dead. People want handhelds. People want to be able to lay in their bed and play their fucking games. People want to take their games to the shitter and play it on the shitter. People want to go to family dinners and have their fucking video games, dude. Handhelds are not dead. Anyone who says they are is stupid and wrong. And anyone who thinks that a phone can do it, maybe one day, but not yet. Okay. And there's anyway, I could go on a whole diatribe about that, but I won't. This proves that it's not, because pre-orders have been going crazy with this thing, and we'll get to that in a second too. But the other thing, I think you're absolutely right. This couldn't have been announced at a better time, dude, because for Valve, because last week we talked about the OLED version of the Switch, and everyone was disappointed with it. Everyone was like, "Where's the Switch Pro? We want the better Switch." And they're like, "Well, it is better. It has a nicer screen." And they're like, "No, we want something that can actually play PS4 games. Something that can actually compete, not with the PS5, because it's a handheld. We still have to keep that in consideration. It's a handheld. But it should be able to play PS4 games, right? Because the PS5's out. And this seems like it'll do that in spades, no problem. The Switch doesn't hold a candle to this thing. Will this thing sell as well as the Switch?
No.
Probably not. Will it sell better than the Switch OLED?
Probably. Honestly,
I think so.
It could. It fucking could. It honestly could.
I think everyone who ordered a Switch OLED last week got their pre-orders in. They all canceled them and got one of these instead. I
don't know. I don't know about that.
I want one of these. I want one of these way more than I'd ever want a Switch. This thing is it's dope as hell. I'm on board 100%, dude.
The one thing that's holding me back is the amount of battery life. And nowhere within their like press conference, within their information online, nowhere in there as they're like, hey, we have this much battery life. I think they said from like 2 to 16 hours or something like that. And it's like, what does that even mean? Like you take it off the charger and it's like 2 hours. Okay, great. But it's such a great idea, and you said it's the perfect time to do this because Switch didn't need to, or Nintendo didn't need to release. Everybody was kind of expecting it because that's what the rumors said. But Nintendo is doing so well and has sold so many units of the Switch that they're like, we don't need to put better anything into our console because you guys are just gobbling this stuff up. Why would we spend more money and get less sales? It doesn't make sense. So, for the big guys out there that want an OLED screen, that's what we'll give you. And then, they announced that, and then Steam's just like, we got to do it to them. Let's turn the heat up because they just announced this. We got to announce ours, and they're like, all right, let's unveil the curtain. Poof, this is the new thing, and it's better than that. Yeah. It's your money goes much farther.
We're PC, baby.
Yeah, it's much farther than what the Switch has, and I think
mouse and keyboard capabilities.
I think Nintendo is going to have to do a lot of
third-party
grinding.
Support.
They're going to have to do a lot of grinding to actually like come out. They're not going to like fail. Like this isn't a war at all. Just a friendly competition. Like, it's competition.
But that's
it's
good.
Like,
yeah,
hey,
it does.
You need to do.
It pushes
you
Nintendo
need to do better, Nintendo. You can't just keep coasting on the bullshit that we've had here forever because the sales numbers are good. So this is definitely a good market mix-up, I think, for the
one thing I will
gaming in general. Like
one thing I will
it's
say,
such a great idea.
One thing I will say about this thing is it doesn't have removable controllers, and those controllers look kind of weird to me. But that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Right? Yeah.
I need to feel it before I.
True, but also, does the fucking Joy-Cons do the Joy-Cons feel good? No, not really. But they also. I saw an article. I'm not sure where the article was, but Steam had come out and said, "Yeah, we're not going to have Joy-Con drift on our thing." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, that's good. That's cool."
So there's a few comments in here. This person, the best Quishy. That's a weird
good name. I like that name.
Yeah, it's interesting. Says you guys are missing the point. Steam Deck is a competitor of Microsoft, not the Nintendo. Ooh, because Valve knows Microsoft wants to become the kind OG the gaming industry using Windows, so they went to Linux. I personally kind of disagree. I think they just use Linux because they could just make their own infrastructure way easier with Linux. Right. I don't think they're competing with Windows at all. Because they work so well with Windows. I don't know why they'd want to even compete with them at all. I think they just use Linux because they wanted to kind of do their own thing with their system.
I think that's part of it, and they don't have to pay Windows in order to use Windows on every system. You do as the consumer. You have to pay Windows for Windows 10. So I think they might even be working together on this, at least a little bit. Because like Linux, you can do whatever you want. Linux is an open source operating system. You can change whatever you want. I think it's just easier for them to change Linux than it is for them to integrate Windows 10 or 11 into this machine
Linux
and
is
have it
superior
work the way
OS,
they want it to.
So it's a win-win for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on Linux. I don't even know that much. I do think Windows is probably more user-friendly than Linux because people just know how Windows works. But sometimes I think we get lost in our own gamer minds. Like we get so sucked into something and we expect you got to think about what about your dad, or your mom who does it. Like the general audience isn't you. You know what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind too. but I strongly believe they are afraid of their future in the industry, with Microsoft pushing the Microsoft Store more and more. I mean, that is a good point. Like, the more that they're pushing Xbox on PC, yeah, I don't know. There is something to think about. Like, if I don't know,
I look at it as competition, and I think, Gabe and Mr. Microsoft, they're just like, it's competition, and they're like, yeah, this needs to be a thing. They're not really stressing. I don't think it's like that sort of situation. But yeah, it's competition. It's going to take some money away from Windows, at least a little bit. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
It's a great move. It is probably one of the best moves I've seen in gaming, or even computers. Just general computers. It's the best move in general computers that I've seen in a very long time.
Here's a hope that I'm hoping for. Now that they've announced this, I'm hoping to help sell this. They release some games alongside it, and they announce some games. Doesn't have to be Half-Life, but maybe something new, maybe a new IP or something, I would love to see Valve get back into game making as well.
I would love to see that too. Portal 3, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, whatever.
That is something that Nintendo absolutely just destroys Valve in every way, is they release games, So
yeah,
Valve doesn't.
But Valve also has all of the third party.
Yeah.
Like, it has everything. It has PlayStation games now. Like, you can play PlayStation on your what is it? The deck, the Steam Deck. Like, that's fucking crazy, right? Like, that's kind of mind-blowing a little bit. That's just something to think about. I don't remember what I was going for.
So something interesting has happened. Put the coin in the box, I said interesting again. Scalpers are already offering the Steam Deck for $5,000.
Offering. Yeah.
It's already happening. Offering. I see Volpinator up here. He said he was already able to pre-order one yesterday, but it was $650, and
That's
it won't be here.
Second.
Yeah, and it won't be here till Q3 of 2022. Ugh, that sucks. But you got one, dude. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, let us know how it is. Like, yeah. I'm super curious.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm going to buy one outright. I think, my PC is fine.
I just don't have the funds for one of those, and I have a laptop, so it's like...
Yeah, if I'm going to buy anything, it's probably just like a nicer PC, but I totally get this, and I will maybe buy one in the future at some point,
I'll buy Steam Deck too,
Yeah. All right, let's round out the show with the NPD numbers. These are the top-selling games, the top 10 games of June 2021. At number 1 was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart by Sony. Good for them, man. It was nice. That's crazy that it got up there. At number 2 was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. At number 3 was Mario Golf Super Rush. At number 4 was MLB The Show 21. At number 5 was Scarlet Nexus. Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty cool for that game. It's a kind of a smaller game. Good for them. At number 6 was Resident Evil Village. At number 7 was Mario Kart 8.
I'm not going to say it again. I say it so much. I say it so many times every month it comes out. I'm not going to say it this time.
I mean, it maintains its spot at number 7.
Yeah.
At 8 is Minecraft. Just always there. At number 9, we've got Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, kicking it back up there. And at number 10 is Mortal Kombat 11. Pretty cool list. I love seeing Ratchet & Clank up there at the top. That's really cool.
I only have one complaint on that list.
What's that?
Monster I'm not going to say it. No.
Oh,
Mario Kart
8. Yeah. It's going to be up there, especially now that OLED is coming out too. People are going to be buying Mario Kart 8 again. I'm telling you. And
Stop.
Then best
Stop. We don't need it.
Best-selling games of the year ending in June. At number 1 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. At number 2 is Resident Evil Village. At number 3, Sorry, got my braces tightened today. I'm really slipping on my tongue here. At number 3 is MLB The Show 21. At number 4 is Super Mario 3D World. At number 5 is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. At number 6 is Monster Hunter Rise. At,
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter Rise.
At number 7 is Mario Kart 8. At number 8 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. At number 9 is Outriders. And at number 10 is Minecraft. The interesting thing about this list is it's the same list almost, except Outriders is just slowly moving its way down.
Yeah, people are like, oh, this game is not good. It's not full.
I imagine next month Outriders is going to be out of there. We might see actually a little bit of a shakeup next month with Ratchet and Clank and Mario Golf kicking it up there.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I could see that for sure.
So yeah, interesting MPD numbers. What to look forward to next week? We've got Pokemon Unite, which comes out July 21st. Orcs Must Die 3, which comes out July 23rd. And of course, on Thursday is the EA Play. So,
yep. It's like at 10 a.m., I think, on Pacific time.
Is it at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, I might watch that live. If it's at
Really?
10 a.m., absolutely.
I'll be at work, unfortunately.
I work at noon, so maybe I can get that in before I go. Do you have a question for us this week, Nick?
I do. I really want to know what everybody thinks about the Steam Deck. I always forget the name of it. I really want to know your thoughts on the Steam Deck. Like, is it a good idea? Will you be picking it up? Which version will you be picking up? Yeah, is this a thing? Is this a problem for Nintendo? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you think? I really want to know in detail what their thoughts are on this. It's not really a question, it's just an open discussion. That's kind of what it is.
I like it.
What are your thoughts on the Steam Deck?
I like it. Yeah, let us know on YouTube. Comment on YouTube. Other Lonercast shows, make sure you check out the Jake and Corey podcast, which is every Monday. Sometimes we don't do it, apparently, but keep an eye out for that show. We've got other content coming to the channel. All sorts of cool stuff is heading over there. We've been doing the Marvel spoiler cast. We're about to do a Black Widow spoiler cast that'll be up on the channel as well. We did all of Loki. We're gonna do all of whatever the next one is, Hawkeye or whatever. We might do What If. We haven't decided yet.
It depends. We'll watch the first episode and we'll see if it's worth it.
What if we did?
What if we did? What if we didn't?
What if we did? Make sure you check us out on Twitter. I am at emergencypizza_. Nick is at fatal_microwave. And you can get all the updates on Lonercast stuff on Twitter with at Lonercast1.
And you can also answer the question on Twitter. That would work too.
For sure.
We'll read the Twitter. We'll get the notification and stuff. So if you don't want to go to YouTube and look for the video, then just message one of us or the Lonercast one.
I might just post. I might make a post every week of the question, and you guys can comment on the post too.
That would be perfect.
Might do that.
We'll see how it works.
We're trying things out. We're expanding. We're growing. We're doing the thing. Check us out on twitch.tv/lonercast. If you're here live with us, hi. If you're watching on YouTube or listening anywhere else, you can watch us live every Monday at 3:30 at twitch.tv/lonercast. So yeah, that's the show, baby.
That's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.